Our story begins on the 17th of May 1968 alongside US Route 25 near Georgetown, Kentucky. A man named Wilbur Riddle is scavenging for glass insulators along the rural highway, a common hobby in the area. As he moves through the brush, he stumbles upon a large, heavy object wrapped in a thick green canvas tarp, the kind used for camping tents. His curiosity piqued, he manages to partially unwrap the bundle. What he finds inside will haunt him for the rest of his life. Welcome to Vanishing Threads. Today, we are exploring a story that sits at a unique crossroads in the history of crime investigation. It's a story that begins in the analog world of paper records and local rumor, and ends in the nascent digital glow of the early internet. This is the story of a woman who lost her name for 30 years, and the factory worker who, armed with a dial-up modem and a relentless sense of curiosity, pieced together a puzzle that had long gone cold. This is the story of the Tent Girl, and how her case became one of the very first digital anomalies to be solved by an amateur sleuth online. Police are called to the scene. The victim is a white female, likely in her late teens or early 20s. She has reddish-brown hair and is dressed in a floral print dress. There are no signs of a struggle and no identification. The cause of death is not immediately obvious, but the circumstances are deeply suspicious. The body has been there for some time, and the elements have begun to take their toll. The investigation begins, but from the outset, it is hampered by a lack of information. In 1968, there is no national DNA database, no digital fingerprinting, no vast, interconnected network of law enforcement agencies. There is only shoe leather police work, missing persons reports filed on paper, and the hope that someone, somewhere, will recognize the description of the Jane Doe found by the side of the road. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months. No one comes forward. No missing persons report seems to match. The woman found inside the tent bag is given a name by the press, Tent Girl. She is buried in the Georgetown cemetery, her headstone a testament to a life cut short and a mystery unsolved. It reads, Tent Girl, found, May 17, 1968 on US Highway 25, died about April 26 and May 3, 1968, aged about 16 to 19 years, height 5 feet 1 inch, weight 110 to 115 pounds, reddish-brown hair, unidentified. For nearly 2 decades, that is where the story ends. Tent Girl becomes a piece of local folklore, a sad and cautionary tale whispered in the small towns of Kentucky. The world moves on. But the memory of the discovery lingers, passed down through families, a ghost story with a real unmarked grave at its center. On Halloween night 1987, the story finds a new audience. A 17-year-old named Todd Matthews is dating the daughter of Wilbur Riddle, the man who found the body all those years ago. The family shares the story of the Tent Girl, a chilling local legend made all the more real by their personal connection to it. For most, it would be a fleeting, spooky tale. But for Todd Matthews, it is the beginning of an obsession that will change his life and the future of cold case investigation forever. Matthews, a factory worker with no formal training in law enforcement, cannot shake the story. The anonymity of the victim, the quiet tragedy of her unmarked grave, takes root in his mind. He begins his own investigation, a slow, painstaking process in a world without the internet. He spends hours in libraries, poring over microfiche copies of old newspapers, searching for any mention of the case, any clue that might have been missed. He speaks to locals, to law enforcement, to anyone who might remember something, anything. But the trail is cold, buried under 20 years of silence. Then, in the mid-1990s, the world begins to change. The internet, once the domain of academics and the military, starts to enter the homes of ordinary people. With it comes a new way to connect, to share information, to search for the lost. Todd Matthews sees an opportunity. He teaches himself how to build a website, a simple text-based page on GeoCities, and creates a digital memorial for the Tent Girl. He uploads every piece of information he has gathered, the location of the discovery, the physical description, the details of the tent bag she was wrapped in. He posts her story on online message boards and news groups, digital spaces where strangers from across the country can gather and talk. He is, in essence, casting a digital message in a bottle into the vast, uncharted ocean of the early internet, hoping it will wash ashore on the right screen. For years, his efforts yield nothing but dead ends. But he persists, driven by a conviction that someone, somewhere, knows who the tent girl is. He believes the internet is the key, a tool that can bridge the geographical and temporal distances that have kept her identity hidden for so long. In early 1998, after years of searching, he finds it. On an online classified site, a precursor to Craigslist, he stumbles upon a post from a woman in Arkansas. She is searching for her sister, who went missing in 1967. The woman's name is Barbara Ann Hackmann. She was known as Bobby. She had reddish-brown hair. She was last seen in Lexington, Kentucky, not far from where the tent girl was found. The details align with an unnerving precision. Matthews knows this could be the breakthrough he has been waiting for. He contacts the woman who posted the ad. They speak on the phone, a conversation charged with 30 years of hope and fear. The sister provides more details. Barbara was married to a man named George Earl Taylor, and they had a young daughter. Their marriage was troubled. One day, in late 1967, Barbara simply vanished. Her family never heard from her again. Armed with this new information, Matthews contacts the Scott County Sheriff's Office. He presents his findings, the result of a decade of amateur investigation, culminating in a connection made possible by a technology that didn't exist when the crime was committed. The police are skeptical at first, but the details are too compelling to ignore. They agree to exhume the body of the tent girl for DNA testing. In April of 1998, 30 years after her discovery, the tent girl is finally given back her name. The DNA is a match. She is Barbara Ann Bobby Hackmann Taylor. She was 24 years old when she was killed. The identification is a monumental victory, a testament to the power of a single individual's dedication. But it also opens a new chapter in the investigation, the hunt for her killer. The prime suspect is her husband, George Earl Taylor. He had a history of violence and was reportedly abusive towards Barbara. But the trail, once again, runs cold. George Earl Taylor died of cancer in October of 1987, just as Todd Matthews was first hearing the story of the unidentified woman his father-in-law had found. He would never be questioned, never be charged, never face justice for the crime he almost certainly committed. While the criminal case may never be officially closed, the human mystery at its heart was solved. A family, after 3 decades of agonizing uncertainty, finally had an answer. They were able to bring Barbara's remains home, to give her a proper burial, to mourn the daughter and sister they had lost so long ago. The impact of Todd Matthews' investigation extends far beyond this single case. His success in identifying the tent girl using online tools was a revelation. It demonstrated that the internet could be a powerful new weapon in the fight to solve cold cases. It proved that a dedicated amateur with access to a global network of information could uncover leads that had eluded law enforcement for decades. Inspired by his experience, Todd Matthews, along with a small group of other online sleuths, went on to co-found the Doe Network in 1999. It is a volunteer-run international database for missing persons and unidentified remains. It is a place where law enforcement, medical examiners, and amateur investigators can share information, cross-reference cases, and work together to give names back to the nameless. The Doe Network has been instrumental in solving hundreds of cases, a direct legacy of the investigation that began with a spooky story on Halloween night. The case of the tent girl is a landmark in the history of internet sleuthing. It is a story about the intersection of old-fashioned persistence and new-age technology. It is a reminder that behind every cold case, there is a human story waiting to be told. And it is a testament to the extraordinary power of a single, curious mind to unravel a mystery that time had all but forgotten. It proves that sometimes the most important threads are not the ones that have vanished, but the ones that are waiting in the quiet corners of the internet to be found. Thanks for tuning in, And until next time, stay curious, stay safe,